One of the most important pieces of this process is evaluating the difference between what's written and what's really happening. A policy might say the organization encrypts data at rest, but there's no mention of how, when, or who ensures that happens in practice. In many cases, the procedure is missing entirely or is outdated and no longer reflects what's actually implemented. Another issue is policies sometimes use vague language like employees are expected to, instead of more formal directives like employees must. That wording can be the difference between a compliant and a non-compliant policy. In some cases, procedures like reviewing access are carried out manually by admins, but there's no documentation to show who is responsible, how often it happens, or how it is tracked. Even if the action is taking place, the lack of documentation can still make it non-compliant. Another issue is some policies simply copy and paste the control language without using directive terms like shall or must. This makes it more of a guideline than a formal policy, which is definitely not acceptable for HITRUST compliance. Additionally, there are times when procedures are represented by a single screenshot or a one-line note without enough explanation. This fails to show how the control is actually implemented or connected to the policy. It's also common to see a policy and procedure that doesn't align. For example, the policy might describe one method of enforcement while the procedure shows something completely different. This inconsistency creates confusion and delays. Another issue that we see is when organizations may say a process is automated or handled by a third party, but they don't provide documentation showing how they oversee or validate that process. It's not enough to say something is happening. It has to actually be documented and supported with evidence. Contact us here at BARR Advisory to learn more or schedule a free consultation.